Is it not Christmas? Because it was snowing this morning and they're playing Christmas music on the radio. What is happening?
What is going on?
Nothing makes sense anymore.
The only thing that doesn't make sense is that nothing makes sense.
The coronavirus.
Coronavirus.
Coronavirus. Coronavirus. Coronavirus.
Officially declaring a national emergency.
Jordan has sealed itself off. The entire population of 10 million is on lockdown.
Let's talk about this. I don't know where to begin. This is so hard.
That's what she said.
I've started this video like 4 different times. Hey, I'm Nadia. This is a really weird time in all of our lives. We've never really experienced anything on this level before, and it's kind of hard to process, especially depending on where you're at in the world, because everyone is handling this very, very differently. I'm struggling with videos. The reason people are freaking out so much more about this disease than others we've had is we just don't have enough information. We don't have a cure, we don't have a vaccine, and it is spreading so rapidly that we can't keep up with it. This is a really difficult topic. Okay. And people are freaking out buying an insane amount of toilet paper because that makes sense somehow to them. I don't know.
Toilet paper? Toilet paper. Toilet paper? Toilet paper?
I am currently living in the United States in Illinois. I am healthy. Thankfully, my family is healthy right now. We are all okay. I want to talk about my experience with COVID-19 in Illinois versus my parents' experience with COVID-19 in Jordan. I was in Jordan just about a month ago when this all started to take off, and things have changed since then. This is a global pandemic that's growing by the second and just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. We don't really know how to handle it. Jordan is handling COVID-19 very, very differently than the United States and Illinois is handling it. It's interesting because I'm honestly not sure which place I'd rather be in at the moment. Let's just go back to the beginning. But before we do that, I just want to say that this video is entirely about my personal story and experiences. I can't speak for what's happening in the whole of the United States or even the whole of Illinois for that matter. It's a large state. I'm just talking about what's happening for me personally and for my parents personally during this time. All right, let's rewind to the beginning. I was in Jordan from December 2019 to about mid-February 2020. I was home visiting my parents and just enjoying Jordan. I live in the US, so I don't get to go back too often, and I really miss it. While we were there, pretty much everything was normal. We were able to go to movies, malls, restaurants. We went out and about to all the historic sites. Nothing really happened until the beginning of February. So we knew we would be traveling to the US in about a week, and we wanted to be prepared. So we went to the store and got hand sanitizer and disinfecting wipes, which were completely in stock because no one was buying them. It wasn't time to freak out just yet. It was this thing that was happening in China and hadn't really spread anywhere else, so people weren't worried. Although we did try to go find masks at several pharmacies and couldn't find any. I think we ended up having to go to like 6 or 7 before we actually found any, so some people were freaking out about masks. While we were in Jordan, they were talking about Jordanian students that were studying in Wuhan and that they would be bringing them back to Jordan on a plane and immediately quarantining them before they would let them into the country. That was pretty much all we knew about at the time. So we left on March 19th to come to the United States. As soon as we got on the airplane, my brother and I immediately took out our disinfecting wipes and wiped down everything. I am talking everything. The tray table, the seat belt, the window next to me. Every single possible thing that I would touch was wiped down, and then I immediately put a ton of hand sanitizer on. Anytime we went through security, I wiped down everything I put in those bins and my hands. Extra cautious. I washed my hands with soap and water every single time I had access to a bathroom. My hands were so dry, but we made it through traveling without getting anything, luckily, thank God. But we were kind of crazy about it because we were afraid. No one else was freaking out at the moment though. There were a few people wearing masks, but honestly not that many. it was relatively calm when we traveled here. When we entered the United States, they asked us, have you traveled to China? And we said no, and that was it. Welcome to the country. So I'll get back to what's going on in the US, but let's finish up in Jordan first. So the very first case of coronavirus appeared in Jordan on March 2nd, and it was from somebody who had recently traveled to Italy. So they went into quarantine, and I think their family was tested and possibly went into quarantine as well. Now, Jordan is a small nation compared to the United States, so there are not nearly as many cases as here, but the cases have been growing. On March 17th, there were 33 cases. A day later, it jumped to 56 cases. A day later, it went up to 69, and then 84, and then 99. And just today, March 22nd, it is up to 112 cases. So Jordan has taken drastic measures and has locked down the entire country.
Sirens blare across the Jordanian capital, warning residents to stay in their homes.
At 7 a.m. Saturday, March 21st, they sounded alarms signaling the lockdown. At that point, no one was allowed to leave their homes whatsoever. You could not step outside of your home unless it was an absolute emergency, in which case you had to call 911. Otherwise, you couldn't set foot outside of your house. And if you did, you would be arrested and could face up to a year in prison. They've actually already arrested 693 people for stepping outside of their homes. They don't know how they're going to get medicine or groceries. The country is trying to figure it out. It's a crazy, crazy situation right now. I mean, my parents were lucky enough to be able to go shopping before this happened. They were given I think a day or two notice before the lockdown, so they ran out to the store, which was crazy. My mom said the bread stores were completely sold out, jam-packed. Everyone was trying to buy vegetables and food. Everyone there, though, was wearing masks or they had their hatta on, covering their faces. Which is good because you definitely don't want to be breathing in the air of the person that is literally right next to you because everything is so freaking jam-packed. So luckily my parents were able to get some food. I don't know how long it'll last though because I'm not sure when they're going to be allowed to go out again. It's kind of insane. The streets of Jordan are eerily quiet, which is very different from how they normally are because the country has so many people in it and there's usually insane amounts of traffic, and now it's just dead silence. It's really spooky. And while some people may think this is pretty extreme to be locked in your house and not allowed to leave, it's necessary. This virus is spreading so fast, and people who are spreading it don't necessarily know they have it. A lot of younger people have mild symptoms or aren't showing symptoms, and they are going and spreading it to a ton of other people without knowing. And there's really no way of knowing if you have it until those symptoms show up, which could take up to 14 days. So you need to be at home for 14 days to make sure you don't have anything before you're out interacting in social situations. So since we don't have a vaccine or a proper treatment at the moment, all we can do is isolate ourselves and try not to spread it any further than we have, because our medical systems can't support the influx of sick people at the moment. The rate we're going, there's not enough hospital beds or hospital personnel to take care of everyone. They're running out of masks and gloves, and they're having retired healthcare professionals come back to try to help out because there's just not enough. There's too many cases. So we need to do it on our part to stay home and not make this any worse. But the problem is not enough people are taking this seriously. A bunch of younger people are like, well, I'm not gonna get sick, so why should I have to stay home? You might not get sick, but you could pass it along to an elderly person or somebody with a compromised immune system, and then they could die. But there are people that are younger getting infected and dying from it. So you're not completely immune because you're younger. Your chances are just less likely, but it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Now, honestly, you could not make it enforced and just say stay home and hope that people listen, but clearly people aren't listening because they're going out and getting arrested. And we have the situation in the US right now.
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the
Everybody
procedure,
stay calm.
everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm!
Wait.
Everybody calm down!
So while Jordan took drastic measures and placed the entire country on lockdown, the US has been moving a lot slower. To be fair, the US is much larger than Jordan, so it's easier to contain something in a smaller country than it is a place this big, so I get that. However, we are moving incredibly slow and it is absolutely terrifying. So they started by shutting down schools. Then they started canceling events where there would be more than 200 people. And then it was more than 50 people, and now it is more than 10 people. You can't have those events anymore, so all of those are canceled. They closed movie theaters, malls, and gyms. Those are all closed. As I'm filming this video, Illinois currently has 1,049 cases and 9 deaths. Yesterday, March 21st, while my parents were going into complete lockdown, Illinois announced that they would be doing a shelter in place, which basically means you need to stay at home as much as possible, but you can still go out for the following reasons. You can take a walk around the block, you can go to a park, you can still take public transportation, you can go to the pharmacy, the grocery store, the hardware store, the bank, the post office, and you can go into work if you're considered essential. But here's the problem. The essential is up for interpretation. Apparently liquor stores are considered essential and those are still open. So there's that fine line, and then there's companies that are taking advantage of that by staying open so that they can get more of the market since other things are closed. It's corporate greed. How can you expect your employees to show up to work sick all because you want to make money? As an employee, I understand that you have to make money, but how are you going to go to work if you're not alive? You need to take care of your health. We all need to take care of our health. We're all gonna make sacrifices right now, and it's gonna suck, and it's gonna continue to get worse. I don't have a job at the moment. I was looking for a job when I first came back from Jordan, and now all the places I've applied to have closed. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. For a lot of people, this isolation is just gonna be uncomfortable. It's not the worst thing in the world, it's just gonna be inconvenient. You can't go about your normal daily life. You're stuck indoors, but you have shelter, food, you have family, board games, movies, things to do and watch, and it's just gonna be a couple weeks of chilling at home. I mean, it's not a big deal, and it's a sacrifice we can make. There's a lot of other people out there that are in refugee camps or in abusive relationships, and now they're stuck at home with that person, and those are horrible situations. So for the rest of us, it's a sacrifice we should be willing to make to protect a lot of other people. I've heard of so many cases of people who have pretty much all the symptoms, but they didn't travel to China or Italy or one of the countries that was largely infected. But it's in the US now. You don't have to travel to get it. It's here and it's being passed around, and they're not testing people. And you might be asking yourself, what can I do right now? Honestly, stay home. If you can stay home and prevent spreading it to other people if you are infected, or if you're not infected, prevent getting it from somebody else that is infected, we can flatten the curve. And that basically means that instead of having a ton of people get infected right now and rush to the hospital, we spread it out. We spread the amount of people getting infected out for a longer period of time, but that means there's not as many people at once, so the healthcare professionals can deal with this, because right now they are incredibly overwhelmed and they can't take care of everybody. And that means that there's situations where they're gonna have to choose who to use the resources for. That's a terrifying thought and a horrible situation for anyone to have to go through. So when you're thinking about going out to a neighbor's house or running to the store to buy more toilet paper, think about, what if that was you? What if you were in the hospital and they couldn't help you right now because they don't have a bed to take care of you? Or what if you catch it and now you're risking infecting one of your family members that have cancer, or an elderly person in your family like your grandparents? Think about that next time you want to go out, and just stay home. Stay home. Also, thank goodness we live in the time period we do, because we have access to Netflix and YouTube and TikTok, and we have hours of entertainment at our hands, so we'll be okay. I mean, we're sitting in our homes for a little bit. It'll be all right. This will pass. It will eventually get better, and we'll be stronger. For the moment, let's just be nice to one another. Take care of one another. Don't hoard supplies, because there is plenty of them coming in. They're still open at the factories and delivering. So don't go buy all of the toilet paper. Buy what you need and help everyone else out a bit, because that's the only way we're gonna get through this, is if we take care of one another, we try to stay positive. As for me, I'm gonna be spending this time posting as much content as I possibly can. I have a bunch of videos that I shot while I was in Jordan, and I finally have the chance to edit them, so I'm gonna try to post as many as possible because I'm really missing Jordan right now and my family, and hopefully these videos will make me feel a little bit better and help you guys feel a little bit better. So subscribe to this channel if you want to check out more of my videos from Jordan and just various videos that I'll make during this time to try to stay entertained. Let me know what the situation in your country is in the comment section below, and I hope you all stay safe and take care of one another. See you later.